wanted to double check. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm calling you, correct?
Yes, hon.
Okay, so here's the thing. The 6:30 segment, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if we'll be able to have everybody
On.
plus you. We might have to do a thing where we...
Okay, I have CK.
First.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
I have C. Okay.
We'll figure it out.
No. We'll do Chaparral quickly.
We'll let her drop,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll have to do the caller, and then once we get the winner of the tickets, then I'll be able to call the last guest.
Okay,
so then you'll have your full panel.
Okay.
Okay. So I can call. I mean, in this list, you've got Reverend Dr. Todd Urey last. Would you like me to call him last, or is there anyone
ask him if we can bring him on at 7, which is 8. No. I need him on.
Okay. We'll have him on. It might be,
No, what we'll do,
5 to 10 minutes into the segment.
Let's call Chaparral and ask her if we can have her on at toward the end of the show.
Okay.
Let me get through the show first, okay?
You want her at 7:30?
Like 7. Yeah, as I'm giving the tickets away.
Okay. Yeah, because even 7, all those people are staying on. I don't know if it'll work at 7. So we'll say, 7:30 Chaparral.
Okay, that's perfect. And if you would just call her and ask her.
Yeah.
Because I know she's got these kids. And so that gets, for everybody gets to be a little sketchy.
Absolutely. Okay.
But thank you so much for working with me, okay?
Absolutely. It's not even a thought.
Well,
I got you.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
It's important to say thank you.
Of course. Hey, it's my job to make you look as good as possible.
Well,
or rather to sound as good as possible.
Well, the thing is, what you always do is say thank you. Don't ever lose that. Okay? Don't ever lose that. Don't ever lose that. Always stay with thank you and being grateful for everything that people do for you, even an unkindness. Thank God for that, because you can learn something from everything. Okay?
Words to live by.
Yes. Just stay right there. Always try to be a kind person in your heart. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Always do that. And just stay right there. No matter what people do to you, no matter what they say about you, just try to be a kind person in your heart, okay? Okay? You there, sweetie?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm writing stuff down.
Okay. We're good.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes, you just stay right there.
I try to do that, but...
Well, I feel that in your spirit.
Don't ever lose sight.
I feel that in your spirit, and I want you to stay right there. Don't let anyone corrupt your spirit. Don't ever do that. Just stay right there. Stay right. Be a good person.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. I'm going through a lot right now.
Honey, and you know what? In life, you're never, ever going to stop going through it. Just keep growing through it. Okay?
Thanks.
Whatever you do.
Seriously, I needed to hear that more than you.
Yes, I know. No, God uses us all to help each other. God uses us all. We're all pilgrim travelers, honey.
I love that.
Okay.
It's a spiritual battleground.
Well, and
we're all being used.
Well, and it's and we're all learning, and it's a journey.
Yes.
So just stay right there. I mean, God is too kind to be cruel and too wise to make a mistake. There's reason that you are here. There's a reason that we're here. There's a reason. There's a reason. There's a reason. So don't just go on and and go with it.
Maybe you should do this good news today.
Well, I can, but I'm not going to do that today. But I'm going to start doing it more and more because that's
I'm
really it.
just saying, you're on it this morning.
Yeah, but that's just
You're on it.
just stay well because it means something to you, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Where are we at?
Okay.
So we will. We're gonna start around 6:10.
Okay,
We
great.
got our 4 minutes.
I appreciate it.
I'm gonna let you go. I will call you back here shortly, and I'll call the pastor, and then we can do our Facebook test. Okay?
Okay, of course. Well, I'm up. I'm up already. Just so that you know.
You are. Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, thank you, honey. Jewel?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll get the pastor up.
$50 bill selected. Perfect. Got any more? Yeah, take a couple hundred. Stop. Instead of using money, use an old rag. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Potential savings will vary. For over 40 years, PCI has provided support, resources, and unconditional love to the LGBTQ plus community, their families, and assets.
Okay. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Whew.
We have about 3 minutes and 45 seconds, and I have Pastor Thurston up.
Okay, let me say hello to Pastor Thurston. Pastor Thurston?
How are you?
I'm doing well. I said, well, let me not yank his chain too much. We're talking about these mass shootings. And really not just the gun violence, Pastor, but the violence in America today, which is not new. Oh my gosh. Not new. Oh my gosh. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, you're wondering. All I can say is more and more. I'm saying thank God for Instacart.
Your audio is good. Good to go.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. And
Pastor Thurston, We are doing everything via phone today. So if you could, I'm not sure if you're on speaker or not, but I'm getting some background noise. So maybe if you can be off speaker to eliminate some of that. I'm getting my earpiece in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the earpiece won't work. Right. I'm leaving that to my board operator, my technical engineer, technical producer here.
That's definitely better. That's better without the earpiece. I was hearing a lot of shuffling and things like that. So
Jewel,
without the earpiece is good.
Could you let everyone else know that no speakers and no earpieces?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna get right to it, okay?
Sounds good.
How are your parents doing?
You're good. My mother said hello. She was in the car with me Sunday morning.
Oh, and I'm sorry I've been missing you, but I've been dealing with one or two issues. It's been enough for me to get in to do Reverend show, but I'm going to go out to California in a few weeks. And we're working on it. Yeah, just working on it. Upside is I lost weight. Oh! Oh man, I can't say that to my mom. She gets angry when I say it now. She's like, I don't think you want to do it this way. But from I'll say half I was working at it, another half it was like, oops. Yeah, but also you get accustomed to eating a little differently too. So, although I had shrimp yesterday. I had a wonderful shrimp salad for dinner. Wonderful dinner. I hope this is not what's bothering me this morning, but I'm so glad to hear your voice. But we're due for lunch or dinner. Oh, and let me know if you want to come to this debate.
Miss Jackson,
Yes.
We have about 15 seconds.
Okay. Let me know. Okay. Let me know, Pastor. The debate on Thursday. You'll hear me say it.
Here we go.
Okay, here we are. Hey everybody, welcome to the Santita Jackson Show. It's a joy to be with you today on Tuesday, January 24th, 2023. We have got the mayoral forum that WCPT will be having. I'm coming to you from WCPT, the nation's largest progressive talk radio station, and AM 950 radio, the voice of progressive Minnesota. 9 people are running for mayor. We're going to have really, the people are polling the highest. They will be with us on Thursday, and we want you to be there. Not that no one else is important, but we've had some people who say, well, we've got some other things that we need to do, which we can appreciate. That having been said, you don't want to miss this forum. It's going to be great, and I'm going to be giving away tickets 3 times during my show, 3 times during the show. So at 6:30, get ready, everybody. I want you to call us at 773-763-9278 because you need to be there. You need to be there. You don't want to miss this. Hey, Joyce. Hey, Carol, and all my morning stars on the Santita Jackson Show YouTube channel and the Santita Jackson and Friends page. And meet me on Twitter at Santita J. Hey, Ashley down there in Memphis and Mason, Tennessee, and Philip, and out there in and out there in Pennsylvania, and Jewel in New York, and Andre here in Chicago. All of you from all around the country. We are family, aren't we? It's a joy. Hey, Samantha, Carol, to be with you today. Robert Williams, shalom to you, my dear brother. And Monique, hey. Monique, do you want to come to the debate? Yeah, I know you missed an opportunity before, so we got a little something special for you. So everybody, we're going to be talking about the violence in America. As of last night, yesterday afternoon, we had 36 mass shootings in America. 36. By the end of the day, it's really up to 37. What's going on? It's not just, is it the guns or is it us? I want you to call me at 773 763 9278. 773 763 278. All people deal with mental illness. That is not what's driving this, everybody. Stop it. The mentally ill hurt themselves, typically. Angry people hurt each other and hurt others. We have to look at who we are. Dr. King said more than 50 years ago that the bombs we drop overseas will explode at home. He also said that the greatest purveyor of violence in the world at that time and still is today is the United States. So are we beginning to pay a price for this? Because we go for armed conflict over diplomacy. Think about that. I want you to call me at 773 763 9278. And of course, John Nichols will be talking with us about the Chicago mayoral election and another big election of tremendous consequence up in Wisconsin. They are going to elect someone to their Supreme Court. Got to pay attention to that. So we're going to be talking with John Nichols, of course, and you and this tremendous panel. I want you to call me at 773 763 9278 so I can give away these tickets. Let's get to some of these headlines. In Chicago, we're going to have a high of 35 degrees. It will be cloudy. In Minneapolis, St. Paul, a high of 27 degrees, mostly cloudy. The NFL, quiet night, but not too night. It's going to be a great one. In the NBA, the Bulls 111. Atlanta 100. The Rockets 119. The Timberwolves 114. Better luck on another night. Chicago will be playing the Canucks tonight, and the Wild will be playing the Lightning, everybody. More mass shootings in the United States today than there have been days. You can't make this up, everybody. You cannot make this up. At least 7 people were killed Monday in shootings at 2 locations in Half Moon Bay, California, just outside of San Francisco. These shootings came just 2 days after at least 11 people, the number was 9 a couple of days ago, this moved up to 11 people who were killed in this mass shooting at a dance studio in Monterey Park, California, a predominantly Asian American community. They've been celebrating their Lunar New Year. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get some of our brothers and sisters to talk about that and how they feel about this at this time. Police say a 67-year-old suspect in the Half Moon Bay shooting is in custody after opening fire Monday at a mushroom farm in Half Moon Bay and again near a trucking facility about 2 miles from the farm. What's going on, everybody? More than $60 billion may have been paid out in fraudulent unemployment insurance benefits during the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a new report released by the U.S. Government Accountability Office. The House Oversight Committee said it will launch an investigation into, quote, the rampant waste of taxpayer dollars in COVID relief programs, close quote. I hope that they will be investigating Big Pharma, who we paid to develop the vaccines, who now want us to pay to use them as they have a 4,000% markup. I added that, but that is from the news too. 3 members of the Oath Keepers and a 4th person associated with the far-right militia group were convicted of seditious conspiracy by a Washington, D.C. jury on Monday for their role in the January 6, 2021 insurrection. The 4 men were accused of plotting to stop the certification of Joe Biden's 2000 election. Electoral college victory. And those are just some of the headlines on the Santita Jackson Show. At 3 o'clock today on Facebook Live, you can see this great man of God, Reverend Stephen Thurston, the recently retired pastor, teaching pastor of the Great Salem Baptist Church, sending my love to Pastor James Meeks and First Lady Jamel Meeks. They deserve the rest, but they're not going to stop working. They are just a fantastic group. But of course, you're over at New Covenant, another one of my home churches since I was a little baby. And we just love the Thurston family and all that they do. It's very interesting. They've got a very interesting gene pool. They do not age, everybody. They just don't age. Don, your grandfather, he didn't age. Your father hasn't aged. Your mama doesn't age. I need some of those jeans. How about that? Love it. I mean, it's crazy. That's what Dr. King calls his grandfather boy baby because at 30, 40, 50, he didn't. He looked like a boy. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. 50 years later today.
I had to put a little history in there. You know it's the truth.
Oh, yes, it is the truth. Thank you for reminding me how young I was.
Oh my gosh. Thank God for that. But you know, as long as you're here and you take care of yourself, that's the real thing, everybody. That is the real deal. So today you will be on Facebook Live at 3 p.m.
Yeah, I think I'm talking about some relationship matters today. Many of us have not gotten over who we're no longer with. I want to talk about that today so we can move forward in this new year relationship life.
Well, what's the good news today?
Well, I want to remind us about the bliss that's hiding on the inside that needs to come to the outside. Let me start by asking this question. Is there something you always wanted to do as a child, and for whatever reason, you never got around to doing it as an adult? Is there something that you have wanted to do for years that you just keep putting off? Yeah, I'll get to it. I'll get around to it maybe one of these days. Or perhaps it's something that didn't seem practical, so that's why you never really pursued it. Or maybe you felt you would be very good at it, and you're a perfectionist like me. Or you didn't have the time or the money. Life just kind of got in the way. Listen, you can ignore the urging, merge it, and choose not to follow through on it. But it will show up again and again, and sometimes again. And oftentimes in the oddest places. Bliss is doing that which fulfills you. Action that touches you deeply and fully. Bliss is active. Bliss is following your dreams, desires, or heart. That's a quote by Angie Karen. Our bliss, it comes in small packages. You know, it may look like a soul urging that has been with you since you were a child, or it may not be your life's purpose or even life-changing. It may simply be something that allows you to express the childlike happiness that's within you. The something that many adults have forgotten is there. And listen, I have no idea what you're leaning into as it relates to bliss. What's on the inside of you that wants to get out, that you've been holding back and suppressing. And I don't have any idea what it's going to do for you once you really lean into it and fully embrace it. I don't know where it might even take you if you decide to make it a priority. But what I do know is that today's the day. Yep. It's time for you to allow the desire that's been within you for years to finally be expressed. These longings, they stay with us for a reason. It's our soul talking to us through the language of our desires. So, what is your soul telling you? Let me help you find out and figure out, because you're probably wondering, I don't know, I haven't thought about this in a while. So let me read the question for you. So I just read the question. Let me give you an assignment to help you to kind of discover what it is that's hiding on the inside. Jump into your area of bliss. I want you, when you get a moment, to gather some paper, gather a pen, and give yourself a few minutes of just pure quiet time. Shut everybody and everything down. Now, at the top of that paper, I want you to write, when I was a child, I loved to. And then I want you to complete the sentence with a list of things that you loved to do as a child. Then, after you write that, I want you to write, when I was a child, I always wanted to. And then complete that sentence with things you wanted to do as a child, but you didn't, or you weren't able to, or weren't allowed to. Then I want you to raise this question. How many of these activities are now a part of my life today? Yeah, I hear the eerie silence that's in your mind, even through the radio. If your favorite thing to do as a child was to create models of rockets and plastic bottles, how are you expressing your love of creative construction in your life today? What if you always wanted to go horseback riding as a child, but only got to do it once, and that love of horses is still burning on the inside of you? Here's an idea. Could you sign up for horseback riding lessons today? Perhaps you tell yourself, hey, Steven, I don't have the time or the money for pursuits that are just fun, or perhaps you do yourselves that you'll get to it later. But listen, if not now, when? The reality is that life keeps slipping by us while we're busy doing, and never fully enjoying what's hidden on the inside, what will give us joy and excitement. I want you to allow yourself to enjoy the journey. Listen to the urgings you feel on the inside, and don't wait until sometime in the future when you have more time, more money, more accomplished. Do what you can do to live a little bit of your bliss each and every day. I want you to follow your bliss and let the magic of life happen. Today's the day that you tap into what's been hiding and submerged on the inside of you.
Bible tells us to be like a child. Go back to your childhood. It tells you exactly what you really, we come here knowing what we're supposed to do. But yeah, I mean, it happened to me. People take you off your point, and I get it, and they mean well. But, you have to break on through, and it's never too late, everybody. I think of Judge Judy. Look at her in her 60s. She began to hit her stride, 70s. Phyllis Diller, same thing. You remember the comedian from years ago? I mean, it's never too late if you have that fire burning inside of you. Don't let it burn you up. Let it light you up and let it light other people up. Oh, I love it. I love it. Love it. Take it and use it. And today, 3 p.m., Facebook Live. How can we see you?
You can go to my Facebook page, Stephen with the PH, Stephen Preston. That's where you find me. I look forward to seeing you. And that's 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. If I catch you miss it, you can always go back and catch the replay. It'll be there. And
of course, your book is Mirror Moments. When will you be preaching again? Will you be at New Covenant doing any preaching?
Yes, I'll be at New Covenant this upcoming Sunday, actually. I got a message specially designed for those who tune in, those who trip in person. It's entitled "Fool Around and Find Out." It's something I think that will challenge our lives in a very positive way.
And what service is that? What time?
Service is at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on Sunday, and of course that service streams, so you can catch it. You can go to the church website, as New Covenant Baptist Church in Chicago. You can get to the website and get the stream or show up in person. We'd love to have you. Love to see you.
And what is the address? I know it's on Cottage Grove. Everybody get on over there. It's going to be great. I'm going to run out of my show, and I'm going to hopefully get on over there because you don't want to pass away before you hear him preach. We have got Dr. Shanina Knighton with us. I hate to compact your time today, but you know what? I have a quick kind of sort of question, but she's an infection preventionist, PhD, registered nurse. She always gives you these detailed but succinct, interestingly enough, explanations of where we are. We were looking at this trifecta of COVID, of RSV, of the flu, but now they've added something else to it, Dr. Knighton. Strep. What is that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was going to say it's interesting. Strep never went away.
I used to get it all the time.
Yes, the thing is, when you think about stress, so stress, that's the shorter version for what's typically a bacteria called streptococcal pharyngitis. And so typically it is bacterial, and it causes lymph node swelling. It causes, let's say, your throat to feel like it's closed up. It causes issues. And some people, when I was telling you before about this whole thing, whether we're talking about a pandemic, or anything else, sometimes we tend to focus so much on the viruses that we forget about the bacteria that cause issues. So bacteria, when somebody has pneumonia, it could be a bacterial pathogen or deadly bugs that they've been exposed to, and it's the same exact thing when we talk about stress. And so just because somebody has a viral infection does not mean that they cannot have a bacterial co-infection which is something that we see oftentimes when we're exploring COVID, flu, pneumonia. And you hear sometimes when they say, oh, well, my cousin had a cold and took for the worse, or something took for the worse. That means that situation may have got complicated with another bug. And so we have to stop thinking that just because we're ill with one thing does not mean that we cannot have a co-infection with something else. And so with strep, typically, that is something that is bacterial, that it has to be treated with the antibiotic. It is contagious within the first 24 hours that you have not received antibiotics. So typically they tell people do not go back to school or do not go back to work until you've been treated for 24 hours because it is highly contagious.
Wow. Very quickly, the difference between a bacterial infection and a viral infection.
A bacterial infection is with bacteria, and viral means that it's caused by a virus. When you take an antibiotic treats something that is bacterial. If you take the antiviral, it is something that treats a virus. However, viruses, through our knowledge, is much more challenging to treat than bacteria. With bacteria, you treat the actual bug. With viruses, you're more so doing like symptom suppression or symptom management.
Dr. Shanina Knighton, everybody. Hey, Dr. Nina is her handle on Instagram, on Facebook, at Hey Dr. Nina, HEYDRNINA. I know all my sisters over here printing it up. HEYDRNINA. We send you so much love, Dr. Shanina Knighton. We're so blessed to have you always. Let's talk about violence, everybody. We've had more mass shootings in the United States of America than we have had days in the year. What's going on? What's going on? It's not just a Chicago problem. It's an American problem, a very interesting, and it's not just the guns, it's us. What's up? Call me, 773-763-9278. And do you want to come to the debate, the mayoral forum? Call me at 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278, so you can win your tickets, everybody. A pair of tickets are just for you. Call me. Back in just a minute on the Santita Jackson Show. Dr. Knighton, I'm going to call you a little bit later because, I have been working through all these issues, but because of they've been looking at one issue, but it turns out it's because of the way with the duodenal switch, and I've been very honest, we're on Facebook Live with my audience, and I've really sought to be transparent. Anatomically, I've been changed. They moved organs around and things like that. And so now I've had some health challenges over the past year, and what I've been dealing with mimics a disease, but it's not it. Thank God. I talked to you about that. So, but it's like, whew. I mean, just before I came over here, my stomach took a turn, and I'm dealing with it right now. I just want you to know. Oh, whew. Oh, yeah.
No, that's about health, boy. Like, it's just so much going on around us, and inside of us, that it's just like, that's why they say pray over your food.
I
did. That anybody that manufactured it, prepared it, however he created it, that they did what they needed to do, because it's just like, that's the thing, you can get exercise, you can get rest, but it's really about just trying to make the best decisions about like how all of those things are working together.
And I feel it right now. I mean, boy, oh boy. Oh boy. And I've been cooking more. I've been preparing my food more at home. And that has helped some. But, I still need to know what it is that I can ingest. So, It's life, everybody. Everybody's got something. Just whatever you've got, whatever your something is, you go on and deal with it. So there is that. But I'm glad to hear your voice today.
Likewise.
Glad to hear your voice. I'm going to have to let you go because we have I don't know what it is. Thank you, Robert. That's what's up. I mean, I lost one or two phone lines, and I'm like, how did that happen, y'all? Why why have I lost phone line? Woo! Why? I don't need to lose phone lines. How about that? No. So anyway, okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm looking for something else. Hmm. Ah, here we go. That's what I was looking for because I've got to do that read. All right, you guys.
Miss Jackson?
Yes,
Miss
yes.
Jackson, we have about 1 minute left right now. We have Attorney Hoffler, we have Dwight McKee, and we already have a winner for the tickets. So we can do that right when we come up.
Are they on the line?
They're on hold right now.
Okay, and what's their name?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. Well, just
I'm going quick today.
oh, I know, sweetie. Well, let me know because I want to bring them up just at the bottom. I want to bring them up and thank them, and I'll ask them their name on the air. Don't worry about that.
All right.
Thank you. Oh, Joyce, you're so sweet. Well, you know what? I've been blessed to have the kind of constitution I don't look like I'm going through. And and also I think that comes from the inside because I believe you're always gonna go through something. Our pastor, Reverend Clay Evans, said in life you're in three
Here
positions.
we go. Stand by.
You're in a storm, coming out of a storm, going into life.
This is the Santita Jackson Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Santita Jackson Show. Let's talk about what's going on in America today. All of this violence. It's not just gun violence, it's verbal violence, it's thought violence. We are a very violent society. We're violent in our foreign policies. We've got to look at what's going on. We've had more mass shootings in the United States of America than we've had days in the year. Unbelievable. Yeah, well, it's not really, not when you really look at who we are. So let's talk about that. Is it the guns or is it us? Do you think that if you not have gun control, I mean, if you eliminate the guns, I mean, do you think that will change things? I mean, remember, Black people were hunted down with dogs and just masses of people with lynchings with a rope. I mean, that's not a gun. Now, some of them carried guns, but if you have a group of people following you, this is where we are. So I think we need to take a look at who we are and what's going on here. You let me know, is it the guns or is it us? Call us at 773-763-9278. But before we get into that with you, Attorney C.K. Hoffler and Dwight McKee and the rest of our panel, we have a winner. January 26th. January 26, 2023 on Thursday, this Thursday at 12 noon, 11 o'clock is when we start serving lunch. You get a nice little lunch. We're going to have our mayoral forum, and you don't want to miss it. But I think Fania, my girl Fania, you have won. Yay, I'm going to see you there.
Yay, I'm so excited. Yes.
Yay. You want to put a pair of tickets. Just very quickly, what do you want to hear in the debate? Well, in this forum, because it's not a debate, it's going to be a forum.
I want to hear solutions. I don't want to hear about the issues that, like violence. If you drumming the beat about crime, I want to hear a program that someone has done in City Chicago or their attached to that is having results and how they're going to expand that program super violence and all that. That's what I want to hear. Solutions. I don't want to hear complaints. Mm-hmm.
More diagnostics.
So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Well, now that's important. That's important. Well, you know, now when you see me there, girl, say hello, so I can get a hug.
Absolutely.
It'll be. I'm so glad. Yay, Fanya won. Fanya won. Now, McGee, you need to call in so you can come on and get your tickets because she won some tickets before, board operator, and guess what? She didn't get her tickets. So you know we gotta rectify that because you do not want to miss this forum. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. My dad's coming, right, and some other people coming, and it's going to be really a wonderful event. Of course, brought to you by so many of us here. I am so excited that you are going to be here at that debate at the Morning Star Theater. You don't want to miss it, everybody. You don't want to miss it. Giving away a pair of tickets. Fanya just won. I'm going to be giving 2 more pair away at the top of the hour and at the bottom of the next hour. This forum at January 26th at the Morning Star Auditorium across from the Daily Plaza. Most of the candidates are going to be there. They've confirmed their participation. This is your chance to hear directly from them. Lunch will be provided at 11, and the forum begins at noon. Joan Esposito, yours truly, and I'm so glad that Patty Vasquez is going to be part of this. It's going to be fantastic. We'll all be moderating the forum. It's sponsored by Morningstar, Roofers Local 11, and Oscar Esperian Rugs. Contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website, WCPT820.com. Congratulations, Fanya. I cannot wait to see you. Excuse me, on Thursday. So let's talk about what's happening in America. It seems that the crime discussion is driving the mayoral race in Chicago. Indeed, Lori Lightfoot, the sitting mayor, is being attacked for what she has not done for crime. Crime actually preceded Lori Lightfoot, quite frankly, let's be honest. And crime will proceed her whenever she vacates that seat. So what's really going on? We've had more mass shootings in the United States than we have had days in the year. What's going on, everybody? At one point, Dr. King said the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, at that time, and even today, United States. We wage more wars. We have more military installations than anybody else on earth. He said the bombs we drop in overseas will explode at home. Is that not what's happening? You talk to me, is it the guns or is it us? We have been reeling from what happened in the Asian American community in Monterey Park, California, in the midst of their Lunar New Year. And then we turn around and then they have another shooting yesterday. Oh my gosh, what's going on, everybody? So I want you to call me at 773-763-9278, 773-763 WCPT. I know that we do have Dwight McKee on with us and attorney C.K. Hoffler. I know we're going to have Reverend Dr. Todd Yeary and Reverend Jeanette Wilson. But let's start with you, Dwight McKee. What do you see? Give us a diagnostic on what we're dealing with right now.
It's a charity that sounds, I see in days. Jesus in the Bible talks about that in the last days, people, their hearts would fail them just from the fear. Is that I see society having a nervous breakdown all over the world. All of this trauma that people are dealing with, that they have no grounding to be able to process. Everything from the climate changes to the floods, to the earthquakes, to the hunger, to the inflation, to the violence in politics. I mean, most people don't have the capacity to process what they're experiencing right now. And so you can be driving down the street and following somebody and cut them off, and they will get out and shoot you. It is a capacity to be spiritually and intellectually mature enough and to be able to handle all of the trauma that the human experience has become. And so it manifests itself in visions and retribution and violence and murder and robbery and inhumane treatment of one person to another. It is just the signs of the times.
Is it the guns or is it us, Dwight?
It is both. It is guns give us capacity to kill in greater volume. But as Jesus said, that the violence starts in the attitude, starts in the spirit. And so you have to have a spirit to kill before you kill. And then guns is just a means by which you express that. The United States is more violent than any other country because they have more weapons at their disposal. And so they kill in mass. But when you have that spirit of violence, Cain killed his brother with a brick. It starts with a spirit of anger and vengeance. And it manifests itself through the ages. It's many as long as we've been here. And so unless you have some redemptive spirit or some accountability to God or some God, or see yourself as some everlasting eternal accountability, then you operate in your passions. And sadly enough, one of the passions in men is the spirit of murder.
Wow. Call us at 773-763-9278. What do you think the issue is? Is it the guns? Is it us? Is it both? Do we need a spiritual revolution of our values and within ourselves? Reverend Jeanette Wilson.
Violence is a spiritual health issue. It is also a public health issue. And we keep trying to address violence with a one shot. If we more police, that will not stop the violence. It is a mental health crisis that we have in this country. It is a spiritual health crisis. Our children are bombarded with images of solving problems through violence. We are a country, a nation that, if you look at the media, it bombards us daily with images of violence. The children play violent games. The video games that are continuing to proliferate the landscape are games that teach people how to respond to issues with violence, with guns. And the fact that guns are dropped into communities on a daily basis, places that we don't manufacture the guns yet. They are on the streets of Chicago, New York, LA, all across America. And so there is this violent spirit which I think increased during the pandemic. People have become very frustrated, very agitated without proper tools to mediate all the things that they find frustrating. When people were locked in during the pandemic, they came out of the pandemic in a very violent way. And so it is, as Dwight suggests, a spiritual health crisis. It is a mental health crisis. And the guns cause such trauma, there's irreparable harm, that we cannot sustain this level of trauma in our society.
Well, we cannot. I mean, Attorney C.K. Hoffler, I mean, we have laws on the books. Murder is a capital crime. And yet it happens over and over and over and over again. What do you see?
Well, I think it's all the above. It's like she said, what Reverend Wilson said, we are in a crisis in this country and in the world. It's not just in the United States. It's just more pronounced in the United States. But it's really, I think, throughout the world. And I think, unfortunately, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I'm sitting here in Atlanta where now we have, there was a lot of protesting over the weekend. And I'm not even disputing that the protests, the essence, the reason for the protests were legitimate. But because I believe that protesting is oftentimes legitimate. People are protesting or speaking against something that they find to be so atrocious in our society that it warrants protesting. You know, police brutality, the reversal of Roe versus Wade, things of that nature cause people to want to protest. And Atlanta, being the breadbasket of the South, being some would consider still one of the bastions of the civil rights movement. And so people are going to protest, but that protesting is taking on a different toll. It's taking on a different tone, and it's becoming very, very violent. And the violence, we're not seeing that Black and brown people are engaged in it. And it's just so we're looking at different types of protesting civil disobedience. And so when we see all of that happening, and you literally see law enforcement lined up against citizens in a way that we haven't seen, in my impression, in a long time. I don't know if Atlanta and Washington, D.C. are trying to rival Chicago. It's all tragic. But when that happens, then I think it has to get worse before it gets better. There's a strong mental health component. We see the number of the homeless numbers. By the way, the homeless people are not the ones killing, but I'm just saying from a society standpoint, the number of people on the streets, living on the streets, in despair, has risen exponentially, not just in Georgia, but all throughout the country. Whenever we see that, we're in big trouble. We're in big trouble because this is new homelessness. So people are in despair. They feel like they have no options, but they do have access to guns. So I don't think guns are the problem. I think the guns fuel the problem and make the problem worse because people have easy access to guns. And when you're on edge and you've got a gun, it's so easy for you to resolve anything with a gun. And that's what's happening. And it's tragic. My fear is for our children, for our young adults, more than anything else, because they're growing up in a generation where everything appears to be resolved through gun violence. And so if they don't have a gun, they feel like they're some type of disadvantage. They can't wait in some jurisdictions so they can turn 21 so they can get a gun to protect themselves.
Well, CK.
Not to go hunting, not for recreational sports, but to protect
But
themselves.
CK, hold on. I mean, because you've been involved in cases in which Black children, one Black child in particular, was handcuffed and put in the back of a police car years ago. But now we have a young child who went into his classroom, 6 years of age, and shot his teacher on purpose. What is that? I mean, and I can only assume this is a white child because had the child been Black, I think it would have been issue number one, right? And it was a white teacher, in a white area of Newport News, Virginia. Talk to me. What is going on here?
Well, the children are growing up in a culture of gun violence. And I think also we have to put some responsibility on the parents because outside of Detroit, when you have that young white teenage boy who was having some challenges, perhaps psychologically, but his family was aware of the challenges he was having. They knew he had access to guns. They furnished the gun. And so when he went to school and shot and killed pigs at school, including children, that was no surprise, and the parents were prosecuted as well. So parents have to take more responsibility, especially in this age. So that 6-year-old could not go anywhere and buy a gun. That 6-year-old has access to guns because of his home life. And so I put, yes, responsibility on the child to a degree, but at 6 years old, you don't even have the intellectual capacity to understand how your actions have consequences that are deadly. You really don't. You haven't fully developed. But those parents do know. Those parents did have responsibility. Those parents do and should have accountability and should be held accountable. And that child is going to, for the rest of his life, need counseling, treatment. Because that event, shooting and killing his teacher intentionally, meaning saying, I'm mad at you. Kids they fall out for all kinds of reasons. I'm mad at you. You didn't give me my sandwich. I wanted to bring a lollipop or candy into the classroom, and you wouldn't let me. I'm going to go get my gun and shoot you, because that's what they see on TV. Anger being expressed, and in the games that they play, anger being expressed that way. But the access to the gun, 100%, I believe, should be placed in the fault of the parents, because they're the ones, or whoever's in that household, who purchased that gun, who let that gun be readily accessible to that child. The problem is, many children, no matter what their socioeconomic background, have access to guns, and they may not do what this 6-year-old did, but they might have the inclination. And when you're talking about raging, now he was 6, but raging hormones, teenagers who already, have had some level of adjustment, it can be and will be devastating if we don't change this. There's got to be change, dramatic change. Because and I do think it's going to get worse before it gets better. On every level in this country, I feel that we're in crisis. Every level.
On every level. Reverend Dr. Todd Yeary, before we bring on Mama D, your thoughts. I mean, we find out that this young boy who shot his teacher, that he didn't do it accidentally, and that he has, according to his family, some kind of disability, and that he had been accompanied to school by a parent until the week of the shooting. I mean, what is going on here?
Well, good morning to you, Santita, and your guests. Just a quick contribution before I get ready to head out the door. When we look at and listen to what you just laid out about the situation about this student, obviously in need of some support services, many times support services, special, what we would often call special education resources are amongst the first to be cut when we start looking at education budgets. We have inadequate staffing in school, inadequate support staffing to help with emotional and behavioral health issues while at school. And then those issues get carried freely back and forth from the home to the school and then back again. When you have many schools that, if they fall under Title I, they're not only there to provide education, but many of the baseline essential needs that families require, including food, those are also stressors that then come back to it. And add to it what Attorney Hoffler just said, is you got the access to the gun, the ready availability of guns on the streets of poor neighborhoods, and then add to it, depending on the neighborhood environment, say like in many of the instances in major cities across the country, the public health assessment is these neighborhoods have been absolutely traumatized. And there is such traumatic dysfunction that is actually being passed back and forth in terms of the regular, everyday functioning of these communities, that there are essential needs that are going unaddressed that contribute to this issue. For those who are returning citizens back to the community, where, as Reverend Jackson often said, you have the ready availability of guns, but not enough availability of jobs, you don't have support systems, and so the game gets to be a major draw to pull these cats back into trying to control turf when the market that they have been controlling is now being undermined by the state. With the legalization of recreational marijuana for taxation purposes, you now have an undermining of what has been the economic underpinning of the streets, with nothing to reinforce it to make sure that there is an ongoing livelihood that is within the law, above the law, and certainly allows folks to have a dignified place to be able to make money. So it's a systemic issue. It is starting to show up in the youngest of our children amongst us. And if we're not paying attention to what this particular incident represents and means, we're going to begin to see more and more of these issues happening with younger and younger of our children. And so we've got a lot of work to do, and it starts with making sure that we have a holistic analysis and an assessment, not just criminal justice, but social services that go into making sure that we can create healthy environments for all of our kids.
Before you leave us, I want to give the final couple of minutes to you, Pastor Yeary. I mean, because you're a pastor, you're a lawyer, you're a civil rights leader, activist. Where do we go from here?
Well, I often draw on the example that's been set by Reverend. We sit down at the table. We cannot be in denial that it's not just Houston that has a problem. Main streets across America have a problem. And if we don't sit down as partners in problem solving and start with first acknowledging then we're going to continue to be complicit in the erosion of the fabric of possibility and dreams for our children. A 6-year-old supposed to be going to school to dream about what he can be, she can be, using all of the capability of their imagination to be able to see the world differently and then see their place in it. When the frustration of not being able to get what you want because we leave our children emotionally incapable of being able to respond to the fact that sometimes you're not going to get your way, and that the way to respond to it is not to react or respond violently, whether it is verbally, as we have seen with racial harassment in school districts across the country, or even more worse, physical violence that is exacted in schools. These are the kinds of issues where if the grown-ups are not willing to sit down and talk and have a real serious, credible conversation, then what are our children going to be left to do? They cannot be left to fend for themselves, because at the end of the day, they don't get a vote. The system was designed for them, not with them. And so we've got to be the ones with the character and the commitment to be able to have credible conversations with one another. We're not necessarily going to agree around the methods, but we must have consensus about our motives. We've got to have a system that is healthy for all of our children, and everybody's got to bring their best ideas to the table.
Pastor Todd Yeary, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Douglas Community Church in Baltimore. How can we see you preach on Sundays?
Go to the Douglas Memorial Community Church Facebook page, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. It's where we do what we do. And then on the first Sundays, we're still transitioning out of RSV, flu, and COVID. But the first Sundays, we're in person, so you can get a double dose in person. You can see me live in charge to make sure I can actually preach and say what I do.
Oh, I've heard him preach. He is absolutely great. You do not want to miss him. The sound is mute on Facebook. I don't know what's going on. But you know what? Stay right there, everybody. I've got some more tickets to give away. 773-763-9278. Do you want to attend the debate? That's right. Excuse me, the mayoral forum. You got to come. January 26th at the Morning Star Auditorium. Call me at 773-763-9278. You don't want to miss this, everybody. I want to give some more of these tickets away. Lunch is at 11. The forum begins at 12 noon. Back with more of the Santita Jackson Show in just a moment. Pastor Yeary?
Hey,
Let me grab you before I have to send you a text. We're doing I don't know what CK is going to be talking about tomorrow on Legal Q&A with CK, but can you join us?
Yeah, put me down if something changes. This issue should be resolved, but I'm on the way out the door for it.
No. You know, I'm just trying to pull you in. That's all.
I appreciate it. So lock me in, and if something changes, I will text you and let you know.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right. CK, you got a guest. But you know what we're doing tomorrow? CK has a television show. And we're so excited about this. Know your rights. And what we want to do is it's exciting. Oh, look, let me tell you, and we want her information too. And so what we're going to be doing tomorrow, we're going to do something a little creative tomorrow. Most of us, Pastor Yeary, Dwight McKee, we don't know what our rights are. I mean, we just don't know. If we're arrested, we don't know what our rights are. When we don't know when to call a lawyer. It's just a lot of things. We're going to have a legal clinic with attorney C.K. Hoffler tomorrow, and these brilliant lawyers and activists, so that we can find out how we know our rights. And I want you to find out more about the show. While we're on Facebook Live, CK, how can we tune into the show?
Well, you can tune into the show. You can go to AID Network. It's free, actually. AID TV. And the first show aired yesterday, but they're going to continue to do re-airing, throughout the week. And for the next really 6 weeks, the shows will be aired. The first show is on voting. The second show is on immigration issues and women's reproductive rights. NIL, there are 2 shows dedicated to NIL, name, image, and likeness, issues that are out there confronting, from legal issues to societal issues
and all of the things that we are seeing play themselves out. And then we have some of the crises that we're talking about really on your show, Santita. Some of the things that we are facing from a societal standpoint. The show is legal in that it's got a legal structure, and that I do a legal analysis, but it has the social justice angle insofar as we address issues from a social justice perspective. Because the whole idea is to keep people informed of their rights, knowing what their rights are, knowing what to do in certain situations, knowing what they should do with their children, knowing what young people should do if they're confronted with a situation of an unwanted pregnancy due to incest and all that kind of, or an unwanted pregnancy, and you're in a state where it's illegal for you to terminate a pregnancy for whatever reason. Knowing immigration, what you do if you're an undocumented immigrant in this space right now. So those are all the types of issues we address from a legal standpoint, from a moral standpoint, from a social justice standpoint, to equip our audience with tools so that they know their rights, know what they should do, and how they can gain access to resources that are free. There's so many free resources that people just don't know about.
Well, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow on Legal Q&A with CK. And so, I'm very excited for you. This is wonderful. Daryl, I wish you could attend the event, but it's going to be on Facebook Live. And it's going to be on the social media platforms. I'm switching over here, CK. It's going to be on the social media platforms. And I'm going to, of course, stream it on my social media platform. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be fantastic. Yes, CK?
And I'd like to have the information so that I can mention it on my show today, my radio show today on WAOK. Because there are people, we have some cross-fertilization. People in Atlanta love to hear what's happening with your show, and we want to expand that audience, broaden the audience. And so if I could get that information, I'll mention it today on my show.
I'm going to send it to you right away. How about that? I'll email you.
Okay.
Thank you, girl. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So excited. So excited. Okay.
Miss Jackson.
Yes.
Reverend Todd Geary meant to drop, correct?
Yeah, yes, he did. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So we still have Mama D on.
Okay, I'm going to come to her.
Were we thinking, do you know, has she won tickets
No.
before?
No. Do you think we should let her have these tickets? I know McGee, we're trying to make things right. We're trying to make things right with her because she won tickets and never got her tickets.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So can I have her call you during the show?
Well, hold on one second.
Okay. Well, let's see, because I know Mama D wants to come. Oh.
Hey, sorry, I'm not sure if I wanted to keep the conversation a little more private. I'm not sure
okay.
if Facebook can hear me.
Facebook can hear you.
Oh. Okay.
Facebook can hear you.
Well, what I was going to say is we can do an extra pair of tickets.
Wonderful.
So if that other person wants to call in, can you give me the name?
I will do that. And McGee, I want you to give me your full name again so that my board operator can take care of you. Okay? Everyone, thank you. Call us at 773-763-9278. We're trying to make something right, everybody. McGee, who's part of the Morning Stars family, won tickets and never received them. So we're trying to make things right. We are going to do that. And of course, my brilliant board operator had the right suggestions at the right time to make it happen. Love it. Yay. Okay, so now let me see who else we have on. And I've got.
We have about 20 seconds, by the way.
I've got my and I've got the Hochberg Rig. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you. Bless your heart.
We'll figure it out.
I keep this child.
Here we go.
I keep this child running.
It's the Santita Jackson Show.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Santita Jackson Show, second hour, January 24th, 2023, WCPT, 820, the nation's largest progressive talk radio station, and AM 950 radio. So happy to have you all from Minneapolis, St. Paul to Chicago and all around the country. Join my morning stars on the Santita Jackson Show YouTube channel and the Santita Jackson and Friends Facebook page. And of course, at Santita J on Twitter. We are talking about violence, this gun violence. We've had more mass shootings in the United States this year than we've had days in the year. How does that happen? And of course, what's driving a lot of the mayoral campaign in Chicago is crime, shootings. Okay. Many people are saying that Paul Vallis is using the law and order platform to push himself to the top of the polls. Although there's a story that just came out that showed that Lori Lightfoot's own polling shows that she's number one. Hey, everybody get out and vote. Early voting begins on January 26th. You do not want to miss it, but we do know that violence did not begin with Lori Lightfoot, and it will not end with Lori Lightfoot. What are we going to do? Why are we so violent in America, everybody? Why do we have so many mass shootings? Is it just because of the guns? Well, Dwight McKee said, no, it starts with the thought. Well, that's true. So what's going on, everybody? Call us at 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. We're giving away these tickets to this mayoral forum. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be great. Lunch is at 11. The forum itself begins at 12 noon at the Morningstar Auditorium across the street from the Daily Plaza, 773-763-9278. Going to get to you, Mama D, in a hot second. But in the meantime, I'm going to get some of these headlines out of the way. In Chicago, a high of 35 degrees. It's really foggy out there, everybody. Not just cloudy. 27 degrees will be the high in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Mostly cloudy. The NFL had the night off last night, but not tomorrow. Well, we're waiting for these playoffs this weekend. Who's going to get to the Super Bowl in February? We're going to see. In the NBA, the Bulls won 11, Atlanta 100 points, and the Rockets 119, the Timberwolves 114. In the NHL, Chicago will be playing the Canucks tonight, and the Wild will be playing the Lightning, everybody. Let's look at some more of these headlines. It's a painful day. Praying for our Asian brothers and sisters as they celebrate their Lunar New Year. They dealt with not one, but two shootings in 3 days, everybody. Of course, we had the Monterey Park tragedy. The 11th person just died in that tragedy, just outside of Los Angeles. But now we had yet another, just outside of San Francisco. There's at least 7 people were killed. Half Moon Bay, California, just outside of San Francisco. These shootings came just 2 days after 11 people were killed in a mass shooting at a dance studio in Monterey Park in a more than 60% Asian American community as they have been celebrating their Lunar New Year, praying for them. This suspect is 67 years of age. He's in custody after opening fire Monday at a mushroom farm on Half Moon Bay, and again near a trucking facility. We're talking about this violence, everybody. Is it guns? Is it us? Is it both? More than $60 billion may have been paid out in fraudulent unemployment insurance benefits during the COVID-19 pandemic, according to a new report released by the U.S. Government Accountability Office. The House Oversight Committee said it will launch an investigation into this, quote, rampant waste of taxpayer dollars in COVID relief programs. And the Oath Keepers, 3 members of the Oath Keepers and a 4th person associated with the far-right militia were convicted of seditious conspiracy. Very, very difficult to get that kind of condition, to level that charge and to get that conviction, by a Washington, D.C. jury on Monday for their role in the January 6, 2021 insurrection. And those are just some of the headlines. on the Santita Jackson Show. But you know what? We're talking about financial freedom. Team Hochberg has got something really, really special for you, and they have got a program that you need to be a part of, Perks at Work. If you're selling your home, if you're purchasing a new home, and if you'd like to save thousands of dollars, call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. They're offering everyone their Perks at Work benefit through the end of April, which can save you thousands of dollars the next time you buy or sell a home. Let me tell you how it works. When a Team Hochberg affiliated realtor sells your home, they'll reduce their fee up to 1%. When a Team Hochberg affiliated realtor helps you to purchase a home, you will receive up to 1% of their commission as a closing cost credit. You can't beat that. Team Hochberg will credit their loan origination fee, and their affiliated attorney will reduce his or her fee. A couple saved close to $9,000 using Perks at Work when they sold their home and purchased a new one. To learn how you can save thousands of dollars with the Perks at Work program from Team Hochberg, the next time you buy or sell a home, give them a call at 855-56-DAVID, 855-56-DAVID, or visit them at 56david.com. 855-56-DAVID or 855-563-2843 or 56david.com. They are your equal housing lender. What is going on, everybody, with all of the violence? I believe we have Mark Fancher joining attorney C.K. Hoffler and Reverend, it's important for us to remember that, Jeanette Wilson, Esquire, and of course, Dwight McKee. Mark Fancher, talk to me when we see all of this violence. Oh, well, we're going to get him on. Well, let me go back to it. Let me go to Mama D. Mama D, what's on your mind? Give us your overview of what's happening in America today.
Yeah, I really agree with you, and I think it's us because hatred is a weapon of mass destruction, and abortion is an act of violence. And if women who bring forth life don't have any respect for it, then where will the respect of life come from?
Bless your heart. Well, it does start in the heart. Thank you, Mama D. Sending you much love. Mwah. Everyone, I want you to, I'm going to get Mark Fancher up, but I want you to call me. Jewel, do we have board operator? Do we have a winner yet on for our ticket giveaway?
We do not,
okay.
And Mama D just dropped.
Okay.
So we still need a winner. I'm opening up the lines now.
Okay, well then you know what? I'm going to call them. I'm going to call out this number again, everybody. I want you to call us again because we are going to have a good time on Thursday, January 26th. We are giving away a pair of tickets to WCPT's Chicago Mayoral Forum on Thursday, January 26th at the Morningstar Auditorium, which is across from the Daily Plaza here in Chicago. The top candidates, at least 5 of them, have confirmed their participation in the forum. This is your chance to hear directly from the candidates. Vanya already won this morning. You should be winning too. Lunch will be provided at 11 a.m. The forum begins at noon. Joan Esposito, Patty Vasquez, and yours truly, Santita Jackson, will be moderating the forum. And the forum on WCPT is sponsored by Morningstar, Roofers Local 11, and Oscar Asperian Rugs. Contests running on WCPT 820 are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland area and Northwest Indiana area. 1 entry per person, 1 winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. Complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com by clicking on the contest tab. So, let me see who we have got here. And call us right now at 773-763-9278 so you can win. Wait a minute, let's CK know we can hear her. Everybody, talk to us. We have had more mass shootings, Reverend Wilson, than we have had days in the year. It's just, wow.
Well, it's clear that we have to see this violence that permeates our nation as a public health issue. Why do I keep saying public health and spiritual health? Because you cannot address it without a comprehensive approach. In a medical situation, when a patient has a code blue. They don't just call an internist. They bring all available medical resources to that patient because they recognize it's not just something that the internist or the cardiologist or the pulmonologist can deal with. They need all available medical resources. It is a team approach. And so as we look at this pandemic of violence, it's not going to be solved by increasing police. There are some mental health issues that students leave home with, parents have inside the home, and they're not getting the appropriate supports. You cannot expect children who have a diet of flaming hots, salt, and sugar every single day with no vegetables, no healthy meals. Their little bodies cause them to think and process thought differently because their electrolytes are out of kilter. And so we have a group of children who arrive at school every day frustrated from what happened in the home the night before, no way to express the pain that they have endured. Young girls who are being abused by family members or friends of the family cannot articulate that pain at 11, 12, and 13 years old, but yet they arrive in our school buildings and are expected to learn. We have a body of children, students, who are homeless, living on the streets every single day, going from one home to another, riding the L all night, and yet we expect them to arrive in school buildings or in places and have some sense of normalcy and order. That's impossible. They're not special ed, they're special needs, and we're not addressing those needs. How do you have children who do not get balanced meals every day, expected to behave as normal citizens in a society? How do you have a society where they're over-policed, over-managed with great hostility, with low expectations from all they encounter to function in a normal, calm way? They've not been living in that kind of environment. Their world is very different than the world that many of us grew up in. I did not grow up in a violent home. I did not live in a stressed community that was under-resourced, under-invested, and with limited access to resources. We don't have a spiritual framework for people anymore. People just do whatever I want to do in my own eyes, and that's what the Bible says. There would come a time when men and women would do what seems right to them in their own eyes without regard to other people. We had a neighborly environment when I grew up. You could borrow from your neighbor sugar, whatever you needed. We're afraid of our neighbors. As a matter of fact, many of us don't know our neighbors. And so you have hostile living situations. And you watch the people waiting for the L. They all frowned and depressed and frustrated. And that frustration continues to exacerbate. I'm afraid when I ride the L because violence has picked up in public transit places. And so it is a comprehensive approach to this violence. We close mental health facilities, so now you have the people that would be treated just roaming the streets. Our processing thought in a very strange and uncontrolled manner. And then the courts, with the injustice that we see happening in our courtrooms, it only increases the level of frustration. When you have people that can sit in county jails for years having not been found guilty of anything, merely sitting there because they're too poor to make bond, it increases the hostility and the rage. And so until we decide as a society to have a very comprehensive approach to address this violence, taking down the violent gangs where they don't have access, they're not available to children who play these games thinking this is real life, and now with artificial intelligence and these metaverses, children can be in fake spaces as if they're real. And so they can shoot people and see the people get back up. That's not real life. But they cannot distinguish between reality and the imaginary. These are things that we're dealing with today, and it is a spiritual health issue. Our faith institutions after COVID with less people attending. People not getting this moral training. we used to wake up and go to school every single day.
Sure.
You opened the day with prayer in school. Someone thought it was wise to take that out. And so where do people have a way to process the emotional trauma that they're experiencing based on lack of income, lack of resources, lack of supports within their family? And so all of this compounds in an individual that results in violence. How many parents buying guns for children? That's ridiculous. Parents must be held accountable legally.
Absolutely. And that's what must happen in Virginia. I mean, because these parents accompanied this boy to school. They said it wasn't an accident. They accompanied him to school up until the week of him shooting his teacher on purpose. What? Let me go to Noel. Noel, what's on your mind, sweetie?
Good morning, Miss Jackson. How you doing?
It's great hearing your voice, sweetie.
Okay. I mean, the first country that had Second Amendment to the U.S. was Australia. In 1996, gentlemen went out and killed.
Wait a minute. Now, Noel, are you on a speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no, come off the speaker, sweetie, so we can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Clearly, yeah.
Hello?
Uh-huh.
You hear me?
Yes, clearly. Yes.
He killed 45 people in Australia and wounded 23 in 1996. What Australia did was they showed the body on national television and to kind of, test the consciousness of the nation. And after that, they made drastic changes to their Second Amendment. If you want a gun, you have to interview your parents, you have to interview your neighbors, you have to interview a lot of people before we give you any kind of gun. They haven't had any mass shooting since 1996. The Second Amendment is the only amendment that has regulation in it. That's all in the Bill of Rights. The only rights that have regulation is the Second Amendment, and that's what people try to refuse any kind of regulation at all. And it's the only amendment of regulation in it that appears in the Constitution.
We have Houston, America, we have a problem. Sending you much love, Noel. I hope that you will call back so you can win these tickets, so you can come to this mayoral forum. I hope you will. Everybody call us at 773-763-9278. Let me go to Otis Thomas. Otis, how you doing?
Good morning. How you doing? Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can. Great hearing your voice.
Okay, good. Coming in, talking on the show again. I'm hearing about once again crime and violence and with black people here. Like I'm just gonna say in Chicago, we're talking about jobs. The thing is, we're getting the jobs. Maybe not enough, but the problem is like where we spend our money to improve our communities. Like I said before. Oh, one other thing, Mama D, I would like Mama D to email me so we can talk about issues like that at oldesthomas50@gmail.com. But other than that, like I said before, on the west side of Chicago, it's almost like dry when it comes to economics over there. And like I said, anybody that's listening, please go on Lake Street in Carson. There's a big building over there for sale. That could be used as the first black mall in Chicago. It's big enough to hold a lot of business in there. And while we're not taking advantage of it, I don't know. We got candidates on the talking about crime and violence. And like I said before, every time you talk about crime and violence, black people are the poster child of that. And so, my thing is, we have to. I'd rather hear the candidates talking about promises we're going to make in certain areas of building like black-owned businesses, supporting them. No more programs. No more programs. Give the people who got businesses the money and let them do their thing. And be correct. Give the black people the money so they can do their thing with their own business. There's no more program trying to teach black people, like Lori Lightfoot did. She had a $30 million program to go to black business owners so they can go to class to learn how to run their own business, and they already had it. And for Garcia, nobody black should vote for Garcia because he knows nothing about the black community.
No, that's not true.
All he knows about for what he
That's not true.
on TV.
Otis, that's not true. That's not true. With
I
he,
have not. You know what? No, yes, it is.
no,
You know why? Because
no,
Garcia,
no.
you indicated back to black community. This is my point. This is my point.
No, no,
Let me
no.
finish.
But I can't let you. I can't let
Give
you
me 10
tell.
seconds. Give me 10 seconds.
No,
10
no,
seconds.
no, no. I've done that. Now, I
Give me
mean,
10 seconds.
Jeanette, why don't you respond to him? Because we've known Chuy Garcia. He's worked in coalition politics for decades. That's just not true.
Well,
If you don't want to vote for him, then don't vote for him. But do not spread a falsehood about him. I'm not going to let you do that. Jeanette?
I think the thing that we have to all remember is we can't just make up facts and put them out in the atmosphere. That creates negative trauma that we don't need. And so none of what you said is correct. There has been investment south and west. There have been coalitions that have been working together over a period of years. When I look at the Black and Brown coalition with Emma Lozano and Sam Coleman, I mean, just decades of us partnering on immigration issues. And when we think of immigration and migration, we have to remember they're not all Latino. They are migrants from Haiti. They're migrants from other parts of our southern border. And the issue that we have to all do is learn to live together. Reverend Jackson talks about that often. We're all on the same planet, and so if I pollute my part of the planet, it impacts you, wherever you are.
Mm-hmm.
If I emit hydrocarbons in the air from my car, from my sprays,
Sure.
hairsprays, and other things, it impacts your ability to breathe. That's why COVID was such a pandemic, because it impacted people of the same race and of different cultures.
Absolutely.
Everything that one person did affected other people.
You
And we
know,
have to stop acting as if we live in isolation. We do not.
and you know,
Proctor often said we live in the polis.
well, you know, I mean, the fact is, you know, we one thing I'm not going to do on this show is allow falsehoods to be spread. I can't have that. Otis, I love the fact that you listen. I love the fact that you call in, and I want you to participate. And I appreciate the fact that you are a race man, that you are an advocate for Black people. We need that. Our people need defending. But our people are all people, ultimately. Yes, as we go into coalition, the Black community has to be strengthened. There's no question about that. But we cannot spread falsehoods about anyone else. Those of us who've been in the activist space have known Chuy Garcia in our politics for 40 years at least. That's real. So don't do that. Don't do that. Renee Criswell said she voted for him in 2015, and so did I. Enough. Now let's build up our communities, and let's figure out why we are shooting each other and killing each other and wanting to massacre each other in the United States of America. Talk about that. Just having Black businesses, that's not just going to do it. No, it's going to take more than that. There's a revolution of values. Dr. King talked about a thing-oriented society, which is what we are. I don't need another Black millionaire. I need some people, Black, white, brown, yellow, and red, who want to live right, who want to be right. Let's start there. Back with more of the Santita Jackson Show in just a minute. Okay, McGee, I am trying to keep open a space for you. So I want you to call us at 773-763-9278. You all, I'm going to have to pivot to John Nichols, but I want to give you literally a minute apiece to give a closing thought, okay? Jeanette, CK, Dwight, you all, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, and if you come off speaker, just make sure that I want to give you literally a minute. When you hear my voice, that means I'm trying to pivot out. Okay, so don't talk more. Bring it in, everybody. All right, CK, you still there?
I'm still here, but I gotta go to a quiet place.
Oh, okay, but let people know we're on Facebook Live, how we can see your show.
If you go to AIBTV,
I'm running to a quiet place. If you go to AIBTV, www.aibtv, it's posted. The shows will be. You can access the shows. They're rerunning the shows. In fact, the first one is being rerun tonight at 8 o'clock. And also, you can see the entire schedule. AIBTV. And it's free to access them. And in addition to that, we're going to do a special show on policing that it's going to be a special edition, a limited edition.
Okay, now unfortunately we can't understand you right now. I think because you're on. Are you on headphones? Probably.
I'm not in a quiet place. I'm running to a quiet place, but I will put you on mute and then in like 1
No,
minute.
now we can understand you. I think when you're on headphones, everyone when you're on headphones, it's very, very difficult to understand. You have to put that phone up to your ear and your mouth to the mic, and that's it. So Mark, hey, and Robert, yeah, I mean, look, I believe in advocating. I believe in advocating for the most vulnerable amongst us. Absolutely. But when people have tried, when they have gone over, when they have overcome or leapt over whatever they are and are not, to be in relationship with us, with the most vulnerable people, and you want to tear someone down, I don't do that on this show. If you want to tear someone down, go to another show. I'm not mad at you. But I don't do that here. I don't do that. And I'm not going to allow that to happen here. I'm not going to allow you to tell a falsehood about someone. If you don't want to vote for Chuy Garcia, that is your business. But don't tell falsehoods on him. And don't do that on Vallis. Don't do that on Lori Lightfoot. Don't do that on Brandon Johnson. Don't do that on Jamal Green, Sophia King, Mr. Buckner, anybody. Don't do it. Vote for someone, not against something or someone. Don't do that. Just go on and run your race and have someone else run theirs. Just do that. We got to mature in our politics. All this unkindness, this is what we're talking about today. Murder and killing begins in the head and the heart. My father is always telling me to clean out my heart. Always keep it clean.
Miss Jackson,
yes.
We have about 25 seconds.
And
we have John Nichols on, and we also have Ms. Shakur Wells on.
Okay, so that means I got to clear the rest of my guests off so we can.
Yep, we have Attorney Hoffler left, and we're ready to do this contest.
Oh, okay, we'll do it right now.
Stand by.
Okay.
I'm in a quiet place now.
Okay, hold on. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Santita Jackson Show. We're giving away a pair of tickets. McGee, call it, girl. We're trying to make things right for you. We're giving away a pair of tickets, actually 2 pair, for WCPT Chicago Mayoral Forum, Thursday, January 26th at the Morningstar Auditorium across from Daley Plaza, everybody, here in Chicago. The top tier candidates. Some have kind of backed out, but, we understand that people are campaigning. We understand that. But they have confirmed their participation. Mayor Lightfoot, Brandon Johnson, Paul Vallis. I mean, it's going to be Chuy Garcia. It's going to be quite the discussion that we have on Thursday. And so this is your chance to hear directly from the candidates. Lunch will be provided at 11. That's right, going to feed you. And then the forum begins at 12 noon. Joan Esposito, yours truly, Santita Jackson, and Patty Vasquez will be joining me this week. We'll be moderating the forum. The forum on WCPT is sponsored by Morningstar. The Roofers Local 11, and Oscar Esperian Rugs. Contests running on WCPT are open to listeners 18 or older and residents of the greater Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana area. One entry per person, one winner per household. Void where prohibited by law. Listeners may only win or qualify to win once every 30 days. So complete rules are available on our website at WCPT820.com. Click the contest tab. Call me at 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. Hey, everybody's trying to come to this forum. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. So call me at 773-763-9278. Before we pivot to John Nichols, I want to get some closing thoughts from everyone. 1 minute, everybody. I got to pivot real hard. Attorney C.K. Hoffler, your show, your television show comes on tonight.
Well, actually, Santita, it came on last night.
Oh!
The first show came on last night, but it's being re-aired on AIZ TV. And you can go online, just put in AIZ, A as in apple, I as in I, B as in boy, TV. And the AIZ network, the television network, has not just distribution in Georgia, but international. We have international programming and all the license. So it's very exciting. The first show is on voting. That's Tasha Brown and Greg Pallet are my guests. So we're very excited, and it's an evergreen show. So it talks in general about voting issues and voter suppression. And what happened before this, we're about to go into mayoral race in Chicago. It's very important for people to know their rights. Again, the focus of the show is knowing your rights. Whether you're voting, whether you're involved with immigration issues, whether you're involved in reproductive issues, whether you're involved in policing, it's a question of knowing your rights. What does the system afford you, and how can you access resources? That's the whole purpose of the show.
All right. Let me go to Renee from the west side of Chicago. Renee, what's on your mind today? Are you coming to this debate? Have you won tickets, or you just want to make your comment today?
Okay, I couldn't understand everything you said, but good morning and thank you for taking my call. I just wanted to say, Santita, that my children affectionately call me Marquita Heck. I am Black. I have taken them throughout their lives to marches and stuff, to protest things and in favor of things. But as this pro-Black woman, this pro-Black woman supported Chuy Garcia in 2015. I researched the people I spoke for. I look at people's history, and he had the type of record that made me vote for him. I believe he caucused with the Black Caucus when he was in Chicago. He was with Harold Washington. My son and I went to Chuy Garcia's office in 2020 to pick up our literature for Bernie Sanders, the person that could have changed our country from what it is today. So he's part of the progressive movement, which includes helping Black people. I'm not voting for him this time because I'm voting for Brandon Johnson, but I'm Black, and I don't have any problems with Chuy Garcia. And that's basically what I was calling to say. I just hope people do their research. Research candidates, don't just blindly follow.
I mean, and you don't have to be hostile to him. You don't have to be hostile to him. And if you know his record, you won't be. How about that? You won't be. Renee, are you coming to the mayoral forum?
You know what? Up my hat. I'm dropping my son up. I won the tickets, but I told her I'll be at work.
Oh, that's too bad.
I have to go to work.
Well, that is too bad, but we're still going to give away a couple more tickets. So I want everyone to call me at 773. I love you, Renee, and give your baby a hug and kiss for me. Call us at 773. You too, sweetie. 773-763-9278. 773-763-9278. We now have open phone lines. We have more phone lines, so we can hear from you today. Woo! John Nichols. Whew, we've got a lot going on. We've got this mayoral race. We've had more shootings. We've had more mass shootings in the United States. this year than we've had days in the year. And, crime is a big, big, big issue in the mayoral race in Chicago. And indeed, Paul Vallis is running a so-called law and order dog whistle campaign about crime and law and order, as if crime just started just now. But there's a lot going on. And of course, we've got this Supreme Court race in Wisconsin. Because it just, I'm trying to keep it together because next year we're going into the presidential campaign. It just seems like we're on a perpetual cycle of of races right now. But this is where we are, and it's how the country moves forward. Where do you want to begin?
Well, you've given us a lot of things to think about there, and obviously a lot of places of entry, but they're all related. Look, if we believe in democracy and if we value it, then we have to recognize that we're going to have a lot of times when we have to vote. It won't just be presidential elections. It'll be midterm elections for governors and members of Congress, and it will be off-year elections, and that's what we're talking about now, for mayors and for judges and for other officials. And let me tell you, if you think about your life.
We have a winner whenever you're ready.
If you think about your life, and if you think about what will impact your life the most, the truth is that what goes on in Congress can impact your life. There's no doubt of that. And even what goes on in the State House, certainly that can impact your life. But mayors and local officials, that's huge, right? They decide if and how the streets get cleared, if and how basic services get delivered, how rescue services operate. And so we have to think about all of these elections as important, as vital. And one of the great things about this show is an understanding that politics is ongoing, right? It doesn't stop with one election in November. It comes right back at us in February and then again in April. And I would tell you this, the race for mayor of Chicago, where you're having this forum in a few days, is an incredibly significant race because 40 years ago, Chicago sent the signal to the United States about a transformational politics. Harold Washington was elected mayor of Chicago. He is somebody who came out of the machine. He, was the first to admit his own flaws and his own imperfections. And yet he said, look, I think we need a new politics. And he put it together with the support of remarkable people, many of whom we know. And that election was transformative, not just for Chicago, but for the whole country. It sent a wave of hope, frankly, across the country in the midst of the Reagan administration. I think Chicago can do that again. And so for people who are thinking about this mayoral race, what they have to think about is who is the progressive who can win? And take it very seriously, listen to the candidates. There's plenty of time. You got a month. And make those choices with a sense of hope and a sense of possibility. And the same goes for listeners in Wisconsin. As you mentioned, the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin could be transformational. Right now, there are 4 conservatives on the state Supreme Court to 3 liberals. One of the conservatives is stepping down, and with that departure, there's an opportunity to elect a progressive majority on the state Supreme Court in Wisconsin at a time when issues such as gerrymandering, labor rights, reproductive rights are all in play. This is great big stuff that's happening this year, and we shouldn't hesitate to get engaged with it. We shouldn't tell ourselves we're bored or we've seen too much politics. What we should say is this is what democracy looks like.
We're talking with John Nichols about these elections. I know you're wondering what is going on here, because I have to tell you, the mayoral election in Chicago, John, it caught me by surprise, honestly, because it's just like, I was just in Washington waiting for this class to be sworn in Congress. I'm waiting for that. But then we had the Warnock race that just ended in December. Warnock and Herschel Walker. It just seems we've been running for years, and we still are talking about the 2020 presidential race. So you've got all that going on. But when you brought up Wisconsin and the Supreme Court and all of these court cases that we've been watching on television, and when you see what's happening in Israel with Benjamin Netanyahu trying to overturn, he's like, no, 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 we're going to throw out the decision of the Supreme Court. That's what we want to do. I'm like, whoa, you see how important all of these elections are. They all have consequences. And you see how important, I mean, many of us don't even know that we can weigh in on the Supreme Court of our state. What is the importance of that?
Well, look, this is one of the complexities in America. We have 50 states, and then we have the District of Columbia, and then we have Puerto Rico and other regions that fall under the aegis of the U.S. And so in all these places, there are different forms of elections and different ways of choosing judges. Some states choose them by appointment from the governor or from the legislature. Other states have so-called merit selection. But most states in the United States elect judges. And you can, question that. You can like it or dislike it, but it is the reality of our circumstance. And in Wisconsin, we have elected judges. And in the last 20 years or so, what has happened is that a lot of outside money, a lot of powerful forces have come in and really jumped into those state Supreme Court races and helped to create a conservative majority. That majority has been very out of touch with Wisconsin. It has supported unfair maps for election districts. It was very meddling as regards election law in general in negative ways. It's made horrendous anti-labor rulings, which are very destructive to unions and to workers. And you can just run down the list. And, of course, at a time when reproductive rights are at stake, Wisconsin is in the thick of that debate, the court becomes even more significant, especially for people who are worried about whether you will have a right to choose. And so this election for the Supreme Court in Wisconsin is critical. It is the election that will decide whether conservatives or liberals have control of the court. And the fact is, the candidates who are running are deeply divided. There are a couple of liberals, a couple of conservatives. We'll have a primary in mid-February, and after that primary, it's very likely there'll be a liberal versus conservative choice. And it's going to be a huge deal. The final election will take place, I believe, on the same day as the mayoral race in Chicago. And so we're going to have something happen in early April where a lot of our politics is going to be defined, right? We're going to get a real signal about where this country is headed and what is possible, what is not possible. And so I think, frankly, as somebody who covers elections, I understand fully that people can get tired of them. I also understand that there's a lot of other news in the world. These mass shootings, which are horrific. The ongoing war in Ukraine, ongoing COVID challenges, which really are an issue. Drug companies, literally profiteering off our misery. All sorts of things going on that we can talk about. And yet, if we ask ourselves honestly, how do we solve our problems? In a democracy, we solve our problems by participating in elections, by electing judges, by electing mayors, by electing city council members, by taking seriously the politics at the state and local level. Don't just vote in presidential election. Understand that going down that ballot into your community, that's where you're going to make decisions that most profoundly impact your own life.
We're talking with John Nichols about running for the Supreme Court. How does one run for the Supreme Court? I mean, aren't you supposed to be objective? You're not supposed to give your political opinions. I mean, in a couple of minutes, because I've got Noel won these tickets, and I want to give another pair of tickets away. I want you to call me at 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. But how do you run for the Supreme Court? I mean, without giving all your thoughts and opinions away, right?
Well, it's a little complicated, but look, I think at the end of the day, you shouldn't, generally the rule is you shouldn't comment on cases that you expect to come toward you. So if I said, how are you going to rule in this case of Santita versus John? A judicial candidate shouldn't say because they've got a good case, of course. But
can they talk about their value? Can they say that, I think that at the end of the day, the law should be on the side of those who are vulnerable, of those who are dispossessed in our society? Should the law be on the side of fairness? Should the law be on the side of free and honest elections where everybody can participate, where there are few barriers to that participation? I think that's quite reasonable to say. And in Wisconsin, we have two candidates, the two more liberal candidates, who are saying that. Who are saying, look, if we're on this court, we're going to err on the side of democracy. We're going to err on the side of fair elections. Now, intriguingly, at least one of the conservatives is criticizing them for that. They're saying, oh, you're stating your opinion. Well, boy, at these times, if you can't say, my inclination as a judge would be to, judge in favor of free and fair elections where everybody can participate or the most possible people can participate. If you can't say that, it really is a troubling notion, right? Because I think that's a basic value. I think that's something that people should understand. And they can make their choice, right? They can say, I want a judge who will be on the side of democracy, or I want a judge who won't be. And I don't want to simplify it too much, but I do want to emphasize that the way to judge judges, right, is to look at their record and also to look at what they say about, how they go in cases, how they approach cases. And the fact is, the signals come through. It's not hard to figure it out, especially in so high-profile races, the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. And similarly, on the flip side, if we look at the Chicago mayoral race, the mayoral race, everybody's going to be making huge promises. They're going to tell you exactly what they say they're going to do, right? But there again, you're in a situation where you want to look at their record, right? You want to look at what they have done. And I was very struck by the caller who was on just a moment ago, who said that, in the past she supported Sue Garcia. This time she may support Mr. Johnson. But, this is exactly what you want. Somebody who's, sorting things through, who has perspectives on the different candidates, who may like a couple of them, but ultimately makes a choice based on, perhaps the forum that you're going to have, perhaps, the campaign in their neighborhood. That's great. That's exactly how it should be. And we shouldn't tell ourselves that we can't do that. The fact is we can. We live very basic lives. People have more demands on them than ever. But the truth is that it is possible to listen up. Take a measure of the different candidates. And that's why the forum you're having is such a big deal. And frankly, I hope it's not the only forum you do. I hope you do a bunch of them and get these candidates out there. And I hope once two candidates are nominated at the end of February, I hope you moderate a debate.
Let me tell you, we're going to lobby for that. John, I'm going to have to let you go a little early today because we are trying to give these tickets away. I want you to call us at 773-763-9278. I have one more pair of tickets to give away today for the mayoral debate. You don't want mayoral forum. This is a forum, not a debate. It's a forum, but you're going to get a chance to hear the big issues discussed by these candidates. Call us at 773-763-9278. Let me bring on Noel since you won a pair of tickets. Yay, Noel. It begins at 11 o'clock. That's when we have lunch. And then 12 noon is when we will start the forum. I'm so happy for you, Noel. Give me a hug when I see you. Yay. All right. Congratulations. I hope you'll say hello to me while you're there. Everybody, I want you to call us. Join Noel and everybody else. And Fanya wants some tickets. 773-763-9278. Have another pair of tickets. Sending you much love, Noel. I'm so glad that you won. I'm going to get a big hug from you. I have to cut out a little early today. But call us at 773-763-9278. Board operator, you have to take it away right now. Sending you so much love. God bless you, everybody. Have a great one. See you tomorrow on the Santita Jackson